Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Wealth Boot Camp. I wanted to talk to you about this story that I just read that I think is worth discussing because I want to make sure that there are multiple opinions on this, not just opinions from bigoted people on the right wing who want to attack somebody trying to do the right thing. Rosalind Brewer is the CEO of Sam's Club. A lot of you know Sam's Club. A lot of you shop there. I know I have at some point. Sam's Club is owned by Walmart, and Miss Brewer actually did something that was really interesting. She went on to CNN and she was asked about diversity in the workplace. The person that interviewed her from CNN, I think it was Poppy Harlow, basically mentioned the fact that it was rare that she's a woman and she's black and she's in this particular role. And I'm going to read to you exactly what Rosalind said. Now, what's interesting is that those who are attacking her for saying this, many of these people are not quoting her directly. They are actually relying on very racist imagery to basically say, you should hate this black woman and get mad at this company because she said something that was anti-white. And she said no such thing. She didn't say anything that was anti-white. And also, remember, the goal is to be a critical thinker. If somebody doesn't want you to have all the facts, that means that the truth has become the enemy. The truth has become the enemy. When the truth becomes the enemy, that means that somebody is seeking to manipulate your mind. They're not seeking to get you to think things through and come to your own conclusion. They're trying to hand your conclusion to you. And the thing about racism is that racism makes people insane and ignorant. Racism is a huge mental illness amongst white and black people. Because remember, white supremacy must be supported by both partners. If black people refuse to tolerate white supremacy, it would go away, right? But white people also, we know, have been infected by this psychological disease for a very long time, which leads to a very almost unfathomable sense of entitlement. Just this sort of idea that we are better, we deserve it all, we deserve to be at the top. If you take an inch away from us, if you take a tiny scrap away from us, you're taking everything. It's almost like a fat kid who eats 50 candy bars and he's mad because you took one. That's kind of what white people sort of do to black people when it comes to diversity. They throw temper tantrums, and it is what it is. That's why I say we have to build black institutions so we can protect our interests as opposed to always borrowing our power from white people. Now, here's what she said in her comments. Here's the question. I'll read the question. I'll read the answer so you can be fully informed. Poppy Harlow on CNN asked her. She said, "You are a rarity in the corner office in America, and it is something that so many people want to see change. Not only are you a female CEO, you're a minority CEO. Where do you fall on who has to make the change and how it's going to happen so that there are more women like you represented in the top echelons of corporate America?" Now, she didn't say black women. She didn't say black people. She said more women, but that's another issue for another day. Um, because in corporate America, black women tend to do much better than black men. A lot of times it's because men compete and men see each other as threats, and so a black man, unless he's feminine or emasculates himself, it's very difficult for him to rise up those same ladders. A lot of times, unfortunately. In fact, there was a study that showed that while black women lag behind white males in pay in corporate America, black men also lag behind in pay in corporate America. Gay black men actually are the only group of black people who are equivalent to white males in terms of pay. And so what some would argue is that it really comes down to who the man in charge might be sexually attracted to, whether it's a woman or a man. People might tend to elevate those who they see as some sort of opportunity for sexual whatever. So it doesn't mean that they don't deserve the opportunity. It just is what it is. That's how people kind of process things, and it's a fact. I mean, look it up. So anyway, okay, moving on. So here's what she said. That's really interesting, and I support her based on the comments. I don't see her saying anything here that's crazy. She says, "My executive team is very diverse, and I make that a priority. I demand it of my team and within the structure. And then every now and then you have to nudge your partners and you have to speak up and speak out. I try to use my platform for that. I try to set an example. I try to mentor many women inside my organization and outside the company because I think it's important." Okay, that's fine. No problem. Next, and I talk to my suppliers about it. Just today, we met with a supplier, and the entire other side of the table was all Caucasian males. So that means white males had literally taken up 100% of the table. Now, what did she do? Did she flip the table over? Did she cuss somebody out? Did she say, "I'm not going to do business with you"? Did she say, "Fire everybody"? What did she say? So let's see what she says. Okay. She says, that was interesting. I decided not to talk about it directly with the supplier's folks in the room because there were actually no females, like levels down. So even levels down, there were no females. She says, so I'm going to place a call to him. So she was going to place a call. She was going to place a call. Now I want you to sit back and think about that for a second. This black woman has now become this huge controversial figure, this pariah, this huge threat to all the good white folks across the country because she was going to place a fucking call. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Is that the threshold for being a threat in corporate America? If you're black, you're going to place a call. You're simply going to say, maybe you shouldn't have 100% white males in the top management of your company. Maybe there's an issue there. Because any statistical study, if you took random draws of qualified people in the population, the probability that you would have all white males in a group of, say, 5 or 6 or more people is maybe less than 0.1%. So the one conclusion you could have is that it just so happens that only white men were qualified to do this job. That's what white supremacy teaches you. White supremacy teaches you to believe that there are jobs that thousands, even millions of white men can do, that there's not a black person on the planet who's capable of doing that job. That's what white supremacy teaches you. That's what it tells you. That's what you're supposed to believe. You're supposed to believe that as a black person, you are so unqualified that white people can do it, but you can't because they are human and you are a monkey. That's what white supremacy teaches you. That's why when you go challenge places about diversity, they will always give you an excuse. When you go to your company and say, why do we have 50 managers and all of them are white and none of them are black? They're going to come up with some excuse like we can't find qualified black people, or we had a black person we tried to hire and we couldn't get her. They're going to always have an excuse because you'll accept the excuse. That's why, because you also have been trained to buy enough into your own inferiority, the inferiority of your own people, that it's easy to explain to you why white people get everything and you get nothing. The other conclusion you can come to, if you are a normal, rational human being, is that there is probably some sort of systemic bias, or systemic racism is well documented. 10,000 studies have been written showing that whites have created all kinds of racism within their corporate infrastructures. And here's the thing. This racism, this systemic racism, wasn't born yesterday. It doesn't exist just because there are white people down the hall from you who say, oh, I'm not working with no black folks today. That's not racism. That's not how it works. Systemic racism is not about attitudes. It's about how structures are built, how policies are designed, who's put in power, who controls the wealth, who makes the decisions. So 50, 100 years ago, when you had racist white folks running the country, and even the most racist white person won't deny that. Even Bill O'Reilly himself won't deny that 50 years ago, white people were racist as hell as a collective. I mean, some would say far worse than they are today, at least openly. Now, what happens beneath the surface, that's another question. But they won't deny that at all. Even the biggest racists in the world will say, yeah, we were pretty bad back then, but we're better now, right? But understand, these institutions that you work for today were built by those people. They were built by these undeniably racist people who built it on an undeniably racist foundation. Many of those undeniably racist policies and procedures and protocols still exist today. So do you think it's a coincidence that you have these organizations, these institutions that just happened to have all white males at the top and black people at the bottom or even outside the door because they can't even get a job there? So if you do not challenge the institution, if you do not challenge the structure, then you will never challenge the racism. So what she's simply saying to them is she's placing a call and saying, can you challenge the structural racism in your institution? She's not saying you're a pack of bigots. She's not saying I hate you. She's not flipping over the table, cussing people out, or saying I'm not going to do business with you or you need to fire everybody. She's not all these white folks running around that are so mad like, oh, Sam's Club hates white people. That really is a reflection of that tremendous amount of entitlement that comes with white supremacy. The entitlement of white folks, unfortunately, is one that is built on this very spoiled, borderline pathetic notion that you control everything and you're supposed to control everything. Why? Because you inherently believe that you are superior to black people. That's what the issue is, and that's what we're looking at, and that's why this poor woman probably won't have a job for very long. I just hope that she has a good golden parachute set up because these white folks will probably push her out. Why? Because unfortunately, from its very core, Walmart, Sam's Club, all these organizations, these are white run, white created companies. And so, black people, one of the things we have to do for the next generation to really strengthen our community and strengthen our position is we must build our own institutions. It's not easy. Remember, Walmart started with Sam Walton, one little farm guy who started a couple little stores, ran them really well, and the stores ended up growing and growing and growing. In fact, I'm not sure. Let me check to see year Walmart was founded. Let's see here. Walmart was founded in the year 1962. So what's that? 50 years, about 53, 54 years ago. Okay. So 53, 54 years ago, Sam Walton, a modestly educated country boy, decided he wanted to start something for his children. He didn't have, all the fanfare. He didn't have billions in the bank. He didn't have all kinds of people showering money and opportunity on him. He was just a hardworking man who said, I'm not going to work for somebody else. I can spend my whole life serving somebody else's dream, or I can build something for me and my family. Now, I don't know if he thought the company was going to be what it is today, but he knew it was going to be his. Damn it, it was going to be his, and it was going to be for his children. So he built this little company, did a damn good job with it, learned how to run a company, learned how to run a store, and made it the best. And it grew and grew and grew. And now today, let me see. Let me see what's the market value of Walmart. Now today, that company is worth a little less than $200 billion, $188.8 billion, according to the latest reports on the Wall Street Journal. So, ask yourself, when you see this kind of thing happening, when you see your people getting disrespected left and right, getting mistreated all the time, when you see yourself getting kicked around like you're a damn rag doll, are you going to subject your children to the very same suffering that you're going through right now? I mean, is the best you're going to do is learn how to survive and cope with significant dysfunction? Or are you going to do something about it? Are you going to create something of your own? It's not easy, but I would tell you that if we got out here right now and 10,000 of us, 10,000, like Farrakhan said, he needed 10,000 good men. We need 10,000 good black leaders, male, female, young, old, it doesn't even freaking matter. If 10,000 of us got together and went out right now and said, I don't care how big my company grows, but I'm going to plant me a seed. In 2016, I'm going to plant me a seed so that 50 years from now, just like with Sam Walton, 50 years from now, I have a shot that my seed in the year is going to grow into something powerful, something amazing, some sort of multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that belongs to me and my family. If you've ever seen the richest Americans list, all of Sam Walton's kids are right in there in the top 20 billionaires in the world. All of Sam Walton's kids are worth billions of dollars. They will not have a financial problem for the next 1,000 years in their family. So if everybody goes out right now, if 10,000 of us go out there right now and plant that seed today, I guarantee you, just based on statistical probability, remember my master's degree was in statistics, mathematical statistics, so I can confirm this. Just based on mere statistical probabilities alone, some percentage, at least 50 of those companies, will grow into something worth more than $1 billion. You will see 50, 100 billion, 200 billion, half a trillion dollars in wealth that will be owned solely by the black community. But if all those 10,000 people decide they just want to go serve the corporate master down the street, then none of that will be born. None of that will be built because we are trained as people who are committed to white supremacy. We are trained to spend more of our energy building the white man's dream than we are building our own dream. So that's really the premise of all of this. When I see these conversations about diversity, I agree. I'm very proud of Rosalind for being the CEO of Sam's Club. I would be prouder of her if she were the CEO of her own company, or I will be proud of her when she becomes the CEO of her own company, because she can't pass Sam's Club to her kids, but she can pass her own company to her kids. She's got enough connections now. I understand the fight on diversity. We know it's wrong. We know we're being mistreated. We know that white people are not going to let us in the door, and they're not going to let us climb the ladder. But there's a reason that when I created the Black Business School, the reason that we have this motto is very, very simple. The motto is, don't just climb the corporate ladder, build one. Everything that you're trained to climb, every institution that you're trying to be associated with, every organization where you're trying to be at the top of it was created by somebody with a dream who chose not to sacrifice and give up their entire life working for somebody else. Get that through your head. Think about that. Make that who you want to be. Decide you want to be that person. And I guarantee you, just like that, you're going to morph into something much greater than you ever thought you'd be. So that's all I really want to say. I wish Miss Brewer the best. I don't know if I'm the best ally for her because I've been banished by white folks. They don't like me very much because I just have this undying need to tell the truth. But at the end of the day, she is gonna catch hell. I hope that she doesn't. I hope that they support her. Chances are that they won't. But maybe she'll, I'm sure she'll come out clean. So, but as for you, just let's take a lesson from this. This persecution must end. We must end this. So that's all I want to share with you guys. All right, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. If you do want to take a class from us in business, you can go to theblackbusinessschool.com. You can join for free. All the classes are a low-cost, high-quality alternative to the expenses of going to other universities. We have certificate programs, all kinds of things that can help you achieve that goal. So I got to make sure I tell you guys that because I appreciate everybody who's already joined. So take care, guys, and I wish you the best. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.